Hello and welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live show. My name is Chris Sau and I'm a prize winner of the 2020 Sound Espressivo Competition. And this year I am a judge for the 2021 Sound Espressivo Competition, as well as a host and social media manager. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining tonight. For me, I'm in Australia right now, but good morning to all who are in the East Coast of the United States. It is my pleasure to welcome you to today's segment on the Sound Espressivo Competition prizes, and more specifically, the performance opportunities that are available. So the real question is, what are the prizes? And last time, in our previous broadcast, we discussed why we're not giving away cash prizes this year. Even in the 2021, there were cash prizes given out for the laureates, but this year, nope. We're doing away with them. And why is that? We decided that with all these collaborations we have with management companies, from photographic studios, website designers, graphic designers, masterclasses, seminars, and performances and career coaching all over the world, we decided, we want to concentrate our efforts into connecting musicians with other organizations that will help them propel their careers further. We want to create a network where everyone can get together. And so we've got all these prizes available. And today, more specifically, we're going to talk about the performance opportunities, namely the Virtual Concert Hall prizes, as well as the Polyphony Arts prizes. So welcome to the show. We've got a great show ahead. We've got a lot of different clips to show you. And so hang in there. We're going to get started. Today, we're very excited to have the co-founder of Virtual Concert Halls and Sound Espressivo Competition, Dr. Anna Ouspenskaya, who's going to talk a little bit about the performance prizes. All right, and she has been an incredible innovator and visionary through all of this. And you've been so generous. I've worked alongside you for a little over a week now, and it's just been so great to see your generosity, your drive, and you're really inspiring. So welcome, Dr. Anna.
Thank you, Chris. It's a great pleasure to be welcomed by the previous contestant of the competition. It used to be almost always me welcoming guests. Now I feel in a different role, and I appreciate that very much. Yes, the competition concept is completely revised from what you would expect from an online competition. And that's been done by professional musicians putting their heads together and just putting a main question: what do we as musicians want to gain out of participating in the competition? And primarily, what do we want to do? We want to perform. We want to have more connections. We want to have more performances, more opportunities to share our art. So the focus of the competition and the way we approached seeking companies which can sponsor prizes for winners and laureates was primarily aimed at finding those opportunities, finding those venues where performances can happen, whether it's physical performances when the venues start to open, and they're starting to open, travel performances, touring, and online performances, and participation in festivals where performances also happen. So that's how we started. Yes.
No, that's amazing. And so everybody who's joining, thank you, first of all. And I would like to ask you, for people who might not have attended last time's broadcast, can you summarize very quickly why you decided this year there'll be no cash awards? Why we're doing away with them, and that it's just look, we could have given away cash, but we decided this year no.
There's so many aspects to Sound Espressivo Competition. It's even hard to explain everything we do because we went through every element of a conventional competition, and we just decided to reinvent it. And so many different aspects can be confusing. So we decided to really focus on distinguishing Sound Espressivo Competition from majority of other competitions online. And so we enhanced the particular aspects which make us different as opposed to what makes us similar to other competitions. Just about every competition gives out some cash to the winners. And a lot of times it's basically in the size of a candy bar. So I'm serious. You get $25 award for 10 and under kids. I understand kids appreciate $25, but they basically can hardly get anything valuable out of it. So instead of going that route and increasing the cash award to $35,
Yeah. No, and,
We
and so
decided to put our money in seeking companies which can provide services which are valued at larger numbers. I mean, if you have to hire a concert hall and perform in there, or hire virtual concert halls, our company, which provides internet TV broadcasts of live performances, you're talking thousands. How many of
exactly.
those $25 cash awards you need to
Yeah.
win in order to get something, get exposure, get experience, connect with other organizations? I mean, it's just a mammoth undertaking. Yeah.
So what I love about this organization and what you're doing is you're clearly defining we're not going to do we're not going to give cash prizes because we're actually going to give things that are worth just as much if not more. So just a very simple thing that we're going to talk about too is one of the prizes from virtual concert halls is a streaming broadcast technology sort of class, and it's worth $1,400, easily for this. And I attended, Frane, who is one of the directors, and he gave this amazing class about OBS and how to use these technologies to stream and broadcast all over the internet. And this is really valuable. This kind of stuff is more valuable than you giving me like a couple $100, but you're giving me something really, really worthy and really valuable.
Yeah, the whole point is to give musicians tools so that they
Hmm.
can appropriate those tools and use them in the future themselves
Yeah,
to propel their own development, whether it's for study or for performances as young rising professionals. So the idea of those awards is to give something which can even further be developed by musicians and their teachers and their parents themselves.
exactly, and I love that. So without further ado, let's dive into some of these prizes from virtual concert halls. Yeah, so we're going to do a little bit something different today. So I'm going to use a clip from last year's awards ceremony, and we have Margaret Pinder from Polyphony Arts describing the virtual concert hall prizes. So we're going to have this video up, and I'm going to invite you to pause whenever you want, and just to give some commentary because that was 2020's prizes, and 2021 is different. And 2021 things are evolving, and which is something very exciting for me as somebody who's just joined, that to realize there are things evolving and changing. So if you don't mind, we're gonna try that. We're gonna start that
Yeah.
up, and let's take it away.
The laureates are a whole different category in and of themselves. So we had our finalists, and the finalists were allocated their rankings. First, I said first, second, third, and then honourable mentions. But the laureates were actually chosen in collaboration between the individual judges and the team at Virtual Concert Halls, the Sound Espressivo Competition team. And judges submitted their votes, and it was quite a complex process to come out. There was waiting. And so what happened is that 6 laureates were chosen. Now, the first ever Sound Espressivo Global Competition 2020, we have 6 laureates. And before I name them for you, I will explain what they will receive, because the laureate is the highest honour in the competition. Now, these laureates are going to be our featured performers during this award ceremony and gala. The awards are being made. These are prizes that have been given by many of the companies, by the companies who've been sponsoring the competition. So there's an incredible array of awards. You can see them on the website, but if you watch through, which we hope you will see some of these extraordinary awards. It also includes a featured profile on the Sound Espressivo competition website. There will also be, for each of the laureates, a virtual recital, an online virtual recital, sponsored and organised by Virtual Concert Halls.
So at this point, I would like to stop and clarify a little bit. So
Perfect. That's exactly what you're here for. Amazing. Go ahead.
yeah, so this is a clip from obviously 2020 Gala, and it's a clip from the actual live event.
Yeah.
which happened in December of 2020. So Margaret Printer is an amazing musician. She's a bass player. She's based in London, and she's also a stand-up comedian and a professional host. And I just love seeing her again. It's a
She's
great.
such a pro. She's a real pro.
She's fantastic, and we hope that she's one of our hosts, and we hope that she will be hosting some of the events in 2021 as well. So, but anyway, hi Margaret, if you're watching, it was just such a joy to have you. And so anyway, the prizes which are given by Virtual Concert Halls, the 6 laureate recitals, you can see them on our channels, and we will also be adding some clips of those recitals in our future broadcasts so that you get the idea of what it feels like. So each laureate receives a full package service from Virtual Concert Halls, which includes complete graphic design of a virtual live performance, and it includes complete tech support. Our teams work with the venue which the recitalist chooses, and some laureates last year chose to broadcast from their own home. So we meet with them in an individual session, and we help them set up their equipment. We give them recommendations and to help them acquire the equipment needed for that. And we set up it's virtual. It's done virtually on a virtual studio. So they join the broadcast studio for this preparation session, and we help them set up the lights, set up the microphones, connect all of their equipment. We test it.
Wow.
So a professional crew of producers of those virtual internet TV broadcasts joins them and instructs every part of that preparation. And I want to tell you that the crews which work with those musicians are professional broadcasters, and they are also musicians. So it's AV, audio video engineers, and professional musicians all in one. And these are people who had done the broadcasts over the past 18 months with over 1,000 participants, 500 plus live broadcasts for professional musicians, including Grammy winners, internationally renowned opera companies like Los Angeles Opera and New York Chamber Players Orchestra, and many conservatories, universities, music departments for many competitions, the Maryland University Knabe competition, and many others. So these are people who had worked with top of the top professional musicians who are familiar with the highest demands of the quality of the sound and picture, and who know how to do it in this particular setting, which I want to stress. It's a particular setting which is different from recording. Streaming live music is not the same thing as recording live music. And those specifics are very nuanced, very detailed, and they require professional approach. So the laureate receives this complete setup, which is done for them. And then all the graphic design is done by Virtual Concert Hall's graphic team, professional graphic designers and artists. All the preparations and all the streaming of multiple platforms and websites. And then we also add promotional package to that. We stream with our collaborators on social media networks, and those recitals are broadcast widely and receive thousands of views. So
it's a much more involved process than just broadcasting the competition that we know, because with the competition, and we will explain this in our future broadcasts, you have your mic, you have your camera, you have your Ethernet cable, and that's pretty, there's a few more extra steps, but that's pretty much the basic setup. But with this, it sounds like when you are a laureate and you win this prize, you have a lot of people working with you to give you the best experience to broadcast out there. It's like a real proper concert.
It's a proper concert. And some of the laureates were able to get additional sponsorship from their school or from another organization, and they were able to broadcast it from a church or from even a concert hall of a university or music school. So when that happens, we work together with with people in the field. We call it in the field, in the space, because some spaces already have their own equipment, and that equipment is great and wonderful for recording, but it also needs to be adjusted for live streaming because, like I said, technologically and logistically, it's not the same. So that preparation is all done in the back end before you see those recitals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing. So let's finish up that video. And thank you so much
There'll
for
be
giving a lot more
tickets sold.
context to what you have.
Right.
And because Margaret will talk a little bit more about the other stuff, like the other little prizes. Not, I shouldn't say little, but the others, apart from the concert, you have other things that support this. And I guess it's a way of sending off the laureate after this whole concert is done. It's like a way to send off and give them even more tools. So let's hear the rest of this.
And the proceeds will go to the laureates. They will also have a full scholarship for individual personalised training and coaching on the streaming and broadcasting technologies that's specific to classical music. That's sponsored by Virtual Concert Halls and it's taught by their producers. And those awards have a value of $1,400. That's so we all know that going forward this online technology is going to be increasingly important. And each will have a laureate certificate designed by Miro Debrovic of D-Photo, who's also given one.
Amazing. So yeah, do you have
Yeah.
anything else to add?
Yeah. So I even forgot to mention this. The recitals for laureates also are announced announced also. How should I put it? There's a opportunity for people to sponsor and support these musicians. Okay, so there are VIP tickets available, and we make them electronic tickets. Virtual Concert Halls prepares that back end as well, and people are invited to purchase those tickets. When they do, all the proceeds from these purchases go directly to the laureate, to the performer. What VIP members of that event receive for purchasing the ticket is they get the opportunity to meet the musician in a virtual reception. Now, this is also modeled from, of course,
really cool.
the normal physical events where you have a concert. If you're a VIP, you're invited to a reception, right? So what we create is a virtual reception after the concert where people can meet the young laureate and make connections and talk and ask questions. And these receptions have been well attended and quite successful. And laureates received all the money. So they earned money by performing those laureate concerts. The idea behind that whole concept was, regardless of the age, we wanted to give a professional experience to those young laureates, so that they receive all this, they go through all the steps. As an artist, it's too limited, and it's a misconception that you just learn your pieces and play. There's a lot more involved, which happens surrounding the event. You go to the concert hall and you work with your lighting engineer, with your microphone engineer before the concert, before the hall opens to the audience. You rehearse, you try your piano. So that's the preparation in the virtual concert halls.
I really enjoy that
you
and appreciate that you said that, because I think what you're doing is you're setting the bar really high for any other virtual concert experiences that they're going to have. They, any other organization who offers them an online concert, he's going to be asking, where's the lights guy? Where's the sound guy? Where's my green room? Where's my reception afterwards? You're setting the bar high, and I think that's good. And this is a way to not only make sure that your organization stands strong, but also that you set the bar high so people will catch up, and that this is expected now. We're in a world that is expected.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I think as musicians we need to expect a good service, and we need to expect to be able to give a lot, because it's the whole experience. A lot of people go to the concert, and after the concert they want to meet the artist. It's part of the experience for the audience as well. So so that's included. So each recital is followed by those receptions with the VIPs, and some of them were attended by dozens of people. Yeah,
that's amazing. Well, everyone, look, thank you so much for joining in so far. If you're just joining in now, I just want to give you a little bit of context of what we're talking about. We're talking about what Virtual Concert Halls has to offer as part of the Sound Espressivo Competition prizes. And what's really amazing about these prizes is that, yes, there's no cash, but they're full of value. They're full of education. They're full of ways to innovate. And I think, as I was saying to Dr. Anna before, they set the bar really high for what you're going to do in the virtual space. And the virtual space isn't going anywhere. The COVID pandemic, I believe, has kind of perpetuated and propelled it forward, but the virtual stage isn't going anywhere. So this is just the start. We're at the beginning of it, and I'm so excited to be a part of this. And so without further ado, we're going to bring Dr. Anna back on to talk about the second part of these performance prizes. And this time, it's actually from a collaboration you have with Polyphony Arts. So we're going to go straight into the clip, and throughout you can pause and talk a little bit about that collaboration if you want as well. So let's dive into it. And here we have Katie Beersworth talking about it. She's also in Polyphony Arts, as well as Margaret Pinder. They work together, and just let's here we go.
Yeah.
Different things that we do, and I didn't decide what prizes I was going to be able to offer beforehand, because I wasn't really sure who was going to be in the competition and what they would need the most. So in the end, I've come up with a bit of a mixture of a selection of prizes which
I want to pause it right here, because Margaret is talking about something which I find, well, and I'm not the only one. We at the Sound Espressivo, we've found it's very important to give managers a voice in the competition. We looked at the concept, okay, even the best competitions which offer really good management packages to their winners and laureates, it's all preset. Okay, so if you win the Tchaikovsky competition, you're going to have a tour in blah these cities, and you're going to follow prescribed routine, right? And that's great. I have nothing to criticize in there. It's wonderful, and if I were in the age bracket, I would still be competing for those prizes. Absolutely. However, as a new competition, modeling is one of the ways, but we took a different path. So we decided to look at the concept and see what may need to be changed in it for someone coming with this offering today. And part of the issue we saw is, number one, the managers which sponsor those prizes are locked into the situation where they have to give particular prizes. What if a musician who inspired the judges and everyone and won a prize in the competition, and that particular prize don't match?
Yeah.
You can't change that because it's already in the rules of the competition. It's already announced. So there can be some, at least partial mismatches. So what we said to the companies when we invited them to join the Sound Espressivo competition and sponsor prizes which they want and can, was we're going to give you managers a voice. And the voice, of course, each manager has a whole spectrum of different services which they offer. So right. We said, watch the competition. You will see how people are progressing through the rounds. You will see likely winners, and you can identify the specifics of the prize down the road. You can even change it. We just ask you to please pay attention to the musicians who are in the competition and see which one of your services you think will suit them most and give them the most value. So that's what Katie Beersworth is saying. Well, I wasn't sure what prize I'm going to give because I didn't know yet who's going to be in the competition.
No, I love that. No, thank you so much, first of all, for giving context to this. This is really important context that we can really learn from, and maybe later on we want to organize our own competitions. We're at least aware that this is what goes on to the thinking of managers, musicians, jury, and because not everybody agrees, and sometimes you need a little bit of this and that to help
exactly.
it.
And it was interesting because it was such a new concept. So we approached, of course, dozens of management companies and offered them, would you like to sponsor a prize? And at first, there wasn't a given understanding. People were like, well, I'll describe my prize. Sure. This, I love your concept and I can write you that. And we were saying, no, wait, would you like to have some freedom and some control over the specifics of the prize down the road when you know who you're going to be awarding it to? And the response from managers was, Really? You really are going to give us a voice?
You're gonna let us speak. You're gonna let us decide who we
You're gonna
give our
let us
prizes to.
you're gonna let us decide how to better use our resources? Really?
That's great because it goes. This whole context goes along with the fact that you're actually giving. Let's put it this way: what you're doing is you're connecting musicians, and you're connecting them in the right way. You're fitting the jigsaw puzzles together in the right not you're not just squishing things together that don't work. And I really love this. So thank you. And if you don't mind, let's keep
Yep.
playing.
Let's
And
keep
then
playing.
because there's so many prizes that she talks about, and it's really cool.
I've awarded to people based on the various strands of the work that I do. So I've got a few. So the first type of prize that I have an online course called Become Your Own Agent, which you might think is slightly odd for a music agent, but basically what this course does is it teaches the tricks of the trade behind being an agent, and it creates an understanding of what agents do and how they do it.
Chris, I understand we're running over time, but I want to ask you to please bring this back up. This course, which Katie Beardsworth talking about, it's not a performance award, so it's in a different family of awards. But she has the course, and she puts it so nicely and so humorously, teaches the tricks of the trade. But the important thing I wanted to put a focus on is she actually teaches musicians the truths and the bolts and nuts of what the managers do. And to me, this is incredibly important for musicians to understand how the management works and how it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So that we don't bump into walls and closed doors just because of misunderstanding, misconception, and wrong assumptions. And her course is incredible insight. And what I love very much about how Katie Beardsworth works, she really leaves nothing behind the veil. She shares with musicians the actual real tools which managers established, and the culture, and how managers talk to each other, and how they collaborate, and how they don't collaborate.
Right.
So let's come back to that one prize in a future broadcast, if you don't mind.
No problem. No, like this.
Because
thank you
she's
first
not,
of all, yeah.
She's not
for
the
your
only one. We have
time
other managers who also provide similar courses. So let's go back to listening.
Yeah. No. Thank you so much.
And the idea
do
of the course
you want to keep going? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
All right.
For you to, as an artist, to basically learn to do these things yourself. This does one of two things. It means if you're very happy managing your own career, then you can do that yourself and be enabled to do that without management help. And if you're not, and you would rather have someone manage it for you, it gives you the understanding to know how to find management that really suits you and is going to work really, really well for you. The next prize that I have to offer just occurred to me, and in fact I'm actually not going to take credit for this was Margaret's idea. I run a podcast called Music Works, which is about the future of the classical music industry, and Margaret pointed out quite rightly that we really have been watching the future of the classical music industry in this competition, with so many incredible performers of the present and the future taking part in an online competition, one of the first of its kind. So we're going to present a special episode of the podcast, and I would like to award 3 guest slots on the podcast, which obviously comes with the opportunity to promote yourself, to promote your views and talk about your work.
Now, this is a very unusual prize. Chris, I don't know, you're a young person, so you're in the networks a lot more than I am. Have you seen other competitions offering 3 slots on an established, well-known podcast with professional host, which provides an opportunity for musicians to share their views? This is what Katie Beardsworth is saying. Share your views, share yourself, and promote yourself.
The very quick answer is no. And the ones that I've seen which have classical music musicians as podcasts hosts or guests the guests are usually well established already. So the young ones, the lesser known, or the ones who are just at the beginning of their careers, you don't hear from because I guess they have nothing to show for it yet. but they still have something to say, and they still have a story to tell, I think.
Exactly. And that's the whole point. Young musicians have a wealth to share.
Yeah.
But like I said, they don't have pedigree yet. They don't have that CV, curriculum vitae, which gives them, they haven't passed all the milestones, they haven't collected all the awards like people over the older generation, but they have a lot to share. That's one. And two, how do you climb that ladder without being invited to the next step?
Yeah.
And that's what Katie Beardsworth is providing with her prize. And again, her company sponsors those podcasts, and it's not very cheap to sponsor podcasts.
Yeah,
so her company
true.
provides this whole package, and musicians are coached how to be on the podcast, and the whole back end of production is sponsored by Polyphony Arts, and they're given the opportunity to take the next step without officially qualifying for it, right? And experience what being a guest on a podcast is like, what's important to say, how to focus your speech, how to really communicate, and
Yeah.
how to promote yourself as a musician and a human being. And those podcasts happened, and they're available. People can watch. And you can go to Polyphony Arts website, or you can go to Music Works specific channels of the podcast. It's available on multiple audio channels and on Facebook, and you can take a look at this incredible opportunity which the three recipients were able to take advantage of.
Amazing. Let's keep I think there's one more prize, I think, or one or two more prizes. Yeah, let's keep going with the video.
To our podcast audience on our social media and so on and so forth. Now to the third prize I have to offer. I have been running a series of online concerts in collaboration with virtual concert halls, which is currently a concert series based in around the musical organisations of Hull in the northeast of England. And is therefore called Hull Music Club, but we have aspirations to take it more international than that, as a sneak preview of what we've got coming up in the new year. And finally, the last prize I will announce, I wanted to offer something quite bespoke for an outstanding candidate in the competition. So my final prize is a strategic coaching package consisting of 3 strategic coaching sessions spaced out across several months, and the aim of this is to do with the artist's personal development in their career and making sure they have their career aspirations, next steps and long-term plans mapped out. So I'm really looking forward to working with the prize winner on this.
There we go.
Yeah. So
A lot of prizes.
yeah, it's a lot of prizes. Each company, we have currently 21 management companies which are offering prizes for it's 2021, but we will surpass the magic number of 21, and we'll have more companies.
I'm sure you will. Not a problem with that.
And each company is offering multiple prizes, and some of them are more clearly described, and some of them, like with Katie Beardsworth, the managers took advantage of our offer to narrow down the specifics of the prize towards the recipients. And the prizes from Polyphony Arts are, of course, more aimed towards serving older musicians, and I would say upper high school, college, and past college. But there are companies which are tailoring their prizes within their scope of services more towards younger winners. And for instance, the laureate recital can be, of course, performed by any, and we had a 9-year-old laureate who performed it. But some of the prizes, like participation in the master classes, or participation in the festivals and concert tours within a group of laureates and winners of a variety of the competitions, those are all performance opportunities regardless of age. People can benefit and have a great experience and learn what's suitable for their current age and development. So,
No, look, Dr. Anna, thank you so much for giving us a lot of context. Our broadcast today has gone a little more longer than expected, but I think what's important is that you're giving a lot of context to what these prizes mean. A lot of the time, contestants compete, but they just see a number or they see just some sort of like record label and that, oh yeah, whatever, but what you're describing here is actually really valuable assets that they can use, and investments not of themselves onto, they're not paying for it, they've been given these investments. And like like what Katie Beachwood says, it's like a very it's just 3 coaching sessions over a period of months, so it's investment of time and effort, for both the musician and the prize giver. And so all these things add up, and this is a way to keep you engaged. And sometimes, when you don't feel like practicing or you don't feel like you're preparing for anything, these kind of strategic coaching sessions are what will keep you going and will give you some hope or some direction in life. So
yeah, and what I also like about these prizes, they communicate to young musicians, their parents. Teachers don't need this reminder, but for young musicians and parents, it's really important to remember that we are in a long run sort of business. So the quick gratification, okay, I'm going to enter my video and then I'll get $50 a word, it has its own value. What Sound Espressivo wants to put a focus on is the value which keeps giving and which actually communicates the nature of how to be successful in a much higher level, because in music and arts that requires investment over time and investment in complexity. I know today's world is all geared towards 10-second attention span, but there's a reason why Beethoven's symphonies don't last 10 seconds. And that's the nature of the art. We have to go deep, we have to go profound, and that requires ability, desire, and acknowledgement that those things are complex. And it's not bad when things are complex and when they take time. It's not bad. It's just different. And some people are not suitable for it. But then they need to understand that, maybe they need to reconsider their attitude about some things. And easy, quick gratification works only in the short run. So if you're there to study music to achieve high level, you need to be told the truth. It's going to take time.
I think a part of being mature, or a part of being going through maturity, is actually realizing humans are complex. We are all complex, and so our art should be complex. You look at something like the Sistine Chapel, and you can look at it forever. And and what I think you're giving are gifts that keep on giving, and I think that's really important. Our art is a gift that keeps on giving, and I think that's the prize that you
yeah,
give
well,
should reflect
Chris,
that.
you're so right. It keeps on giving. For it to be able to keep on giving, it has to be built to last. And to build something to last, you kind of need to spend more resources over a longer time. Just simple things, how life works. And this acknowledgement, Sound Espressivo wants to communicate through the prizes themselves as well, so that there is truth on the table. If you want something to last, you have to build it with a solid foundation, which takes more resources over a longer period of time. So.
I love it. No, thank you. Well, look, with this session, we're gonna wrap up. Thank you everybody for joining us so far. Like, this has been a really interesting conversation, which we're going to continue on. I think we're going to need many parts to even just the performance opportunity prizes. Yes. We have to do a part 2 next time. And there's so many prizes, and I think the detail you give is important, because you organize and collaborate with these managers and these organizers. And I think this kind of background and context should be given so people understand the breadth of which you're organizing. It's not just like, oh, we're going to throw a few prizes together. No, it's something really well thought out and considerate. And so thank you so much, Dr. Anna, for your time.
Thank you, Chris. You're a fabulous host. I really love how you do that. This is a great pleasure. And Chris, what you're doing is a living, walking, talking example. You took the most out of the prizes which you won during the competition, and you really developed them yourselves. I can't say what you're doing right now is caused by the prizes, but it was just an opportunity, and you took it to heart, you developed it yourself, and it's now your own.
It was
And
a
that's
gift
it.
that kept on giving, Dr. Anna. Thank you
You're
so
sweet.
much. Yeah, no, seriously. So just to wrap up, we're a competition that has no time limits, no repertoire requirements. You get immediate feedback, and we have so many valuable prizes for management, performance opportunities, collaborations, career coaching, and just so much more. There's so much you can't even imagine what is possible. And so if you're a student, I really would ask you to apply, check it out. And if you are a teacher, get your students on it. And you and your students and their parents will be really nourished by this environment, this culture that we have, which is to empower, educate, and nourish musicians, to let them know that, even in spite of a pandemic and, the world falling apart, there is a hope. And music and arts is something, as we said, there's a very common theme, a gift that keeps on giving. So thank you for joining us. I want to give some thanks to the people behind the scenes, Ante, our director, and everyone working at virtual concert halls. Thank you so much for your work. And for everyone attending and watching, thank you for joining us and being a part of our broadcast today. And thank you again, Dr. Anna. You're just an amazing person to talk to, as always.
Thank you, Chris. And thank you, everyone who's been watching, and see you again soon.
See you soon. Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Good night. Oh, good day.
No matter where you are or who you are, music connects us all. We started with a dream, but now we are paving the future. Welcome to the Sound Espressivo Global Competition. Fully virtual, yet bringing musicians closer together than ever before, now on a global scale. True live, inclusivity, diversity, connection, community, an extraordinary array of judges. Get noticed by companies all over the world. Prizes, scholarships, performance opportunities. Apply to be a part of the most exciting congregation of artists like nothing you've ever seen before. We guarantee quality and leave no musician behind. We can't wait to hear you on the virtual stage.